The Korean Mafia boss went silent when he saw his 7-month pregnant ex-wife cleaning floors. The mop slipped from her hands the
Here,
moment the
I've got
glass
it.
door slid open.
Come on, let's
It
get you
wasn't the
sat down
sound
for a
that
minute.
stopped her heart, not the soft hiss of metal parting, not the muted footsteps on marble. It was the silence, the kind of silence that arrives before danger, the kind that presses against the skin, heavy and unmistakable, as if the air itself knows something terrible has entered the room. Yara Thompson froze, one knee still pressed painfully against the cold floor, fingers wrapped tightly around the handle of a yellow mop bucket. Her back screamed in protest. Her ankles were swollen inside worn sneakers. 7 months pregnant, and already on her 3rd floor of the day. She did not look up. She told herself not to. She had learned the hard way that some presences did not need to be seen to be felt. The smell reached her first. Expensive cologne, dark, clean, controlled. Winter air clinging to wool coats. Leather. And beneath it all, faint but unmistakable, the metallic bite of gun oil. Her breath hitched. No, not here. Her hand drifted instinctively to her stomach, fingers playing protectively over the round curve beneath her uniform. The baby kicked once, sharp and sudden, as if sensing her fear. She swallowed. The Grand Meridian Hotel lobby gleamed under crystal chandeliers. Polished marble floors reflected wealth and power, so cleanly it hurt to look at. Guests passed through every day who would never notice the woman scrubbing their footsteps away. That was how she survived, by being invisible. But invisibility shattered the moment he walked in. Jinwoo Park stopped just inside the entrance. His men moved immediately, silent, practiced, dangerous. They spread across the lobby, scanning exits, checking reflections, hands hovering near the inner pockets of their tailored jackets. But Jinwoo did not move. The most feared man in Seoul's underworld stood frozen, breath shallow, eyes locked on the woman kneeling on the floor 10 feet away. His ex-wife, Yara, and she was pregnant. His gaze dropped slowly, involuntarily, from her face to her belly. 7 months. Impossible to miss. For the first time in years, Jinwoo Park felt something slip beyond his control. Shock. The world narrowed. Sounds dulled. The steady rhythm of power he carried in his chest faltered. She felt it then. The weight of his stare, heavy and unmistakable. Her shoulders tightened. Her fingers trembled. Don't look, she told herself. Don't give him that. But the silence screamed. The air thickened. And her body, traitor that it was, responded before her pride could stop it. Yara lifted her head. Their eyes met. The moment cracked something open. Jinwoo's expression, usually carved from ice, fractured. Just for a second. Enough for her to see disbelief flash through his dark eyes. Enough to know this had not been part of his plan. Her chest tightened painfully. He looked exactly the same. Sharper, perhaps. More dangerous. The years had polished him, not softened him. His suit fit him like armor. His posture commanded the room without effort. He looked like a man who had never lost anything. And yet his eyes told a different story. Yara stood up too quickly. Pain shot through her lower back, stealing her breath. She gasped, steadying herself against the bucket as the baby shifted inside her. She turned away first. The hotel manager rushed forward, panic flickering across his face. Ma'am, you're assigned to the West Wing. What are you doing here? I was finishing, Yara said quickly, already reaching for the mop again. Her voice shook despite her effort to steady it. I'll go now. She bent down, scrubbing harder than necessary, her reflection blurring in the marble beneath her tears. She had scrubbed worse floors. She had survived worse men. She would survive this too. Footsteps approached. Slow, measured, heavy. Her heart hammered against her ribs. A shadow fell across the floor. Yara. Her name, spoken in his voice, cut deeper than any blade. She didn't answer. Yara. Jinwoo said again, quieter this time. Stand up. You shouldn't be on the floor like this. Something snapped. She rose, one hand braced on her stomach, fury flooding through the exhaustion. You don't get to tell me what I should or shouldn't do anymore, she said, meeting his gaze. Not after you signed the divorce papers and disappeared. His jaw tightened. You disappeared, he replied. She laughed, a short, bitter sound that surprised even her. I left because your world was killing me. His eyes flicked again to her belly. And this, he asked softly, was this part of your escape? Her hand curved protectively over her stomach. This, she said, her voice steady now, is none of your business. A lie. They both knew it. The timing was brutal, the truth unavoidable. Jin-Woo Park never missed details. The manager cleared his throat nervously. Mr. Park, your meeting. Cancel it, Jin-Woo said without looking away from her. The manager blinked. Sir, I said cancel it. He stepped closer to Yara, lowering his voice. We need to talk. No, she said immediately. We don't. You're pregnant with my child. The words echoed through the lobby like a gunshot. Heads turned. Whispers rippled. Yara's heart slammed painfully against her ribs. You don't know that, she said, even as the truth burned behind her eyes. I do, he replied simply. She grabbed her bucket. I'm working. Not anymore, he said, his tone leaving no room for argument. She's leaving with me. I am not leaving with you. Then I'll walk beside you. Her breath caught. She hated herself for the way her heart responded to him still. 5 minutes, she said finally. That's all you get. He nodded once. 5. Later that day, they sat in a private lounge overlooking the Han River. The room smelled of citrus and leather, clean, expensive, unreal. Sunlight spilled across dark wood and glass walls, illuminating a life she had once almost belonged to. Yara sat stiffly on the edge of the sofa, hands folded over her stomach. Jin-Woo sat across from her, posture formal, hands clasped together as if facing judgment. Why didn't you tell me? He asked quietly. She stared out at the river. Because you made it impossible. My mother. Your mother told me I would never belong. Yara snapped. That my child would be cursed by my blood. Silence. You let her, she added softly. Regret flickered across his face. I was trying to hold my world together, he said. I didn't see what it was doing to you. I was lonely even when you were beside me, she whispered. I was always waiting for you to come back alive. That night, Yara dreamed of hallways that never ended, of footsteps behind her that she couldn't outrun. She woke with a gasp, hand clutched to her stomach. The baby kicked, strong, insistent. I'm here, Jin-Woo murmured, already beside her. He must have been sleeping lighter than she thought. She looked at him in the low light, his face stripped of armor, dark circles beneath his eyes. You don't sleep anymore, she said. He shrugged. I will later. She reached out before she could stop herself, fingers brushing his wrist. He went still. You can't protect us if you destroy yourself, she whispered. His throat bobbed. I don't know any other way. She squeezed his hand. Then learn. The touch lingered longer than necessary. Neither of them pulled away. They began sharing small moments after that. He walked slower, so she could keep up. She corrected him gently when he spoke too sharply to staff. He listened. One afternoon, they visited the doctor together. Jin-Woo sat close, knee brushing hers, as the heartbeat filled the room. Fast, strong, undeniable. Yara felt tears sting her eyes. Jin-Woo's breath caught audibly. Afterward, in the elevator, he said quietly, I never thought I deserved this. She looked at him. Deserve isn't the point. What is? Choosing to be better, she said. The attack came 3 days later. They were returning from a market when the car had slammed on its brakes. Jin-Woo reacted instantly. Down, he ordered, hand already pulling Yara toward him. The sound of gunfire shattered the afternoon. Glass exploded. Tires screamed. Yara curled instinctively around her stomach as Jin-Woo shielded her, his body a solid barrier. She heard shouting, the crack of shots, the roar of engines. Then silence. Her ears rang. Yara, Jin-Woo said urgently. Look at me. Are you hurt? She shook her head, breath shaking. The baby. She's okay, he said, his voice fierce with certainty. I've got you. She clung to him as guards swarmed the scene. That night, Jin-Woo unleashed his fury. The city felt it. Names were spoken in hushed tones. Warnings were sent. Lines were crossed. Yara watched him pace the apartment, phone pressed to his ear, issuing orders that carried finality. "This is escalating," she said when he finally hung up. "Yes," he admitted. "And we're the target." "You're not," he said. "I am." She stepped in front of him. "They don't see it that way." For the first time, he didn't argue. The breaking point came when Yara found the documents. She hadn't meant to snoop. She was looking for prenatal vitamins in his study when she saw the folder, her name on the tab. Inside were surveillance photos. Of her. At the clinic. At the grocery store. On the balcony. Fear washed over her, cold and sharp. When Jinwoo entered, she was holding the folder with trembling hands. "You're watching me," she said. He froze. "To keep you safe," he said quickly. "By turning my life into a prison." "No, you promised me." Her voice broke. "You said you wouldn't cage me." "I said I wouldn't lock you away," he replied, desperation bleeding into his tone. "This is different." "It feels the same," she whispered. The argument erupted, months of fear and restraint pouring out. "You don't trust me," she said. "I trust you with my life," he shot back, "but not with theirs. You don't get to decide everything." "I do," he said harshly, then stopped. Regret crossed his face. "I think I do, because that's how I've survived." Silence fell heavy between them. Finally, he spoke, his voice stripped bare. "I don't know how to love without control." The admission stunned her. She stepped closer. "Then let me teach you." That night, as thunder rolled outside, they sat together on the couch, close but not touching. "I was afraid to tell you," she confessed, "about the baby, because I knew if I did, you'd pull me back into your world." "And now," he asked quietly. "And now I see you trying," she said, "and it scares me how much I want to believe you." He turned to her, eyes dark and earnest. "I will change. Not tomorrow. Not perfectly. But I will." She searched his face, weighing the truth in his words. Slowly, she leaned into him. He wrapped his arms around her, careful, reverent. Their foreheads touched. No kiss. No rush. Just breath shared. Outside, the storm raged. Inside, something fragile and powerful took root. But neither of them knew the worst was still coming, because the enemy watching from the shadows had already decided. If Jinwoo Park had a heart, it was time to rip it out. The call came just before dawn. Yara woke to the sound of Jinwoo's phone vibrating against the nightstand. Once, twice, then relentlessly. She knew before he answered that something had gone wrong. The air in the room felt wrong. Taut. Electric. Jinwoo sat up, already alert, his voice low and controlled as he listened. "Yes." Pause. "When?" Longer pause. Yara pushed herself upright, heart pounding. "What is it?" Jinwoo ended the call and stared at the dark window for a moment too long. "They've taken someone," he said finally. Her chest tightened. "Who?" "My lieutenant's wife," he replied. "She's 8 months pregnant." The words landed like ice water. "They want me to trade," he continued. "You, the baby, for her." Yara's breath left her lungs in a rush. "That's insane." "They think it will break me," he said quietly. "And will it?" she asked. He turned to her then, eyes fierce and raw. "Never." She swung her legs over the side of the bed, pain flaring in her hips. "Then listen to me very carefully." He stiffened. "Yara, I am not running," she said, "and I am not hiding while someone else suffers because of me." "This is not your responsibility," he snapped. "It became my responsibility the moment I married you," she replied, "and it became yours the moment you let me back into your life." He knelt in front of her, gripping her hands gently but desperately. "I will not risk you." She leaned forward, forehead touching his. "You already are. Every day. The only difference is whether I get a say." Silence stretched between them, thick with fear and love and everything unsaid. Finally, Jinwoo closed his eyes. "Then we do this together," he said. The plan was dangerous, precise. One chance. The exchange would take place at an abandoned shipping yard near Incheon, neutral ground, surrounded by water and rusting steel. Jinwoo would go alone. No visible guards. Yara would not be present. Except she would. Hidden. Protected. Ready. You trust me? He asked her as the sun rose pale and weak over the city. She nodded. Do you trust me? He hesitated. Then yes. The warehouse smelled of salt and oil and decay. Wind howled through broken windows as Jinwoo walked in. Hands visible, face unreadable. The antagonist, Kang Min-jae, waited in the center, smug and confident, flanked by armed men. You look tired, Min-jae said pleasantly. Fatherhood not suiting you. Jinwoo's gaze flicked past him, to the woman bound to a chair. Alive. Shaken. Breathing. Let her go, Jinwoo said. Where's the prize? Min-jae asked. Behind a wall of crates, Yara listened, heart hammering. Her hand rested on her stomach as another contraction rolled through, low and insistent. Now. Not now. She breathed through it silently. Jinwoo took one step forward. You want me. My empire. My head. Not her. Min-jae laughed. No. I want your heart. Gunfire erupted. Chaos exploded through the warehouse. Jinwoo moved instantly, cover, return fire, precision born of years in darkness. But Min-jae had planned for this. Men poured in from all sides. And then Yara screamed. Not in fear. In pain. The sound ripped through Jinwoo like a blade. Yara, he shouted, spinning. She emerged from behind the crates, guarded but defiant, one hand clutching her stomach as another contraction seized her hard enough to bend her double. Min-jae's smile widened. There she is. Jinwoo's world narrowed dangerously. You brought her into this. She brought herself, Min-jae replied. Just like you did. Another contraction hit. Stronger. Jinwoo broke. He moved with lethal efficiency, tearing through the remaining guards, fury guiding every strike. Min-jae tried to flee. Yara watched as Jinwoo caught him, dragged him back. This ends now, Jinwoo said, voice shaking with restrained violence. Min-jae sneered. Kill me. You'll still be a monster. Jinwoo leaned close. I know. He handed Min-jae over to his men alive. Then he was at Yara's side, catching her as her knees buckled. I'm here, he said, voice breaking. I've got you. Her fingers dug into his sleeve. The baby. It's time. The hospital lights were blinding. Too bright. Too fast. Jinwoo paced, hands shaking, shirt stained with blood that wasn't his. He held her hand through every contraction, whispering apologies and promises, and prayers he'd never spoken before. You're doing so well, he told her, voice thick. I'm so proud of you. I need you, she gasped. I'm not going anywhere, he said fiercely. I swear. When their daughter was born, screaming and strong, the sound shattered something deep inside him. He cried openly, kneeling beside Yar's bed, forehead pressed to her hand. I love you, he said, the words finally free. Not as possession, not as protection, as choice. Every day. Tears slid down Yara's temples as she looked at him. This man stripped bare, transformed. We'll take it slow, she said softly. We'll stumble. I will earn you, he said. Again. And again. Months later, sunlight filled the apartment, now softened by toys, blankets, laughter. Yara stood by the window, holding their daughter, watching Jinwoo cook breakfast, burning toast again. She smiled. When he caught her watching, he smiled back. Not the cold smile of a king, but the warm, uncertain smile of a man still learning how to love. And this time she stayed, because the most dangerous man she had ever known had finally learned. Love was not about control. It was about choosing to stand still and letting someone walk toward you. Thank you for listening to the Korean Mafia boss went silent when he saw his 7-month pregnant ex-wife cleaning floors. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Your support means the world. Until next time, Red Heart.